archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Now I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, when you find a donkey, ride it. Who's donkey? Man, come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country. Ooh, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Sell some Maryland. Giddy up, giddy up. Come on. Oh, no. Let's go. Who's the donkey again? They're selling one island. Yeah, they won't keep. What can be left for you and me? Is this the example? What's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride or go selling too? Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, yes. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha.
Whoa, girls, we out doing
Look at it. Remember, this is the same packaging that they had on their website. This is their product. And so this is at petbarn.com. And so this aragonite is what they use for fish aquariums around the world. This is a 9-kilogram bag. And so that is about 20 pounds, just under 20 pounds. So this is a 9-kilogram bag of aqua natural oolitic aragonite sand. Look at how much money they're getting for one 20-pound bag. $63 for one 20-pound bag. Let's do the math. And so if it's 9 kilograms, there's 1,000 kilograms in a metric ton. And so if you do the math, 1 metric ton that they paid $2 for is on the market for up to $7,000 they're making off of that $2 metric ton. Surely this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Wow, this is mind-blowing. Of course, in other places, we found, like on Amazon.com, it sells for much cheaper. But this is the high end, and this is the end result. So we found this for much less, sometimes half of what we see here. So if it's half of the 7,000, then maybe it's about 3,000 that they can make from that metric ton. If it's a little less than that, maybe it's 2,000. There is no industry in the world that I can think of where that kind of profit can be made. This makes aragonite more valuable than gold, more valuable than diamonds. There's no other product in the world that you can pay $2 a metric ton for and sell for thousands of dollars. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7,000, there is no product where this is doable. And so this is a major industry. And this is why we say our aragonite is worth trillions. Okay, so let me put this in perspective for you. Right now, a barrel of crude oil is selling for about $41.68. Okay, and so there's about 42 gallons in a barrel. So that's roughly about $1.01 per gallon. So let's say $1 per gallon. And so that's the raw material. The street value to the gasoline pump is $2.19 per gallon. So they spend $1 on the crude oil, but the final product is $2.19. That's the street value. With aragonite, their cost of the material is $2 per ton. $2 per metric ton. And the street value is up to $7,000 per metric ton. To be fair, in most cases,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome. It is so good to have you here, ladies and gentlemen. This is an extraordinary live that we're having this week. Normally we do Sundays at 5 p.m., but because of what I saw pass in that act, and because I did not really see the media or the opposition or anyone really dealing with the real issues, I decided I had to do this live to give you a chance to see what's really going on. So this won't be a long live tonight. I hope I'm going to get straight to the point and show you exactly what's happening. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new act There's a new act that has been passed, and it's called the Anti-Gang Bill that is being put uh, to the Bahamian people. They say so that they could control the gang problem in this country. I put it to you that that gang bill is a farce. It is a distraction. It is not necessary. And I'm going to show you why they're doing that to trick you and bamboozle you again. It's kind of like that bill number 4 when Perry Christie and those were trying to pass this bill number 4 to change sexual orientation and sexual marriage, etc. And they were doing the referendum. They put it with 3 other questions that seem necessary, that seem to give equal rights to women, etc., that people would want. And then they put this other shady bill there to sneak it in. And that's what they normally do, especially the Progressive Party. That's what they normally do to deceive you. And anytime you see these shady stuff going in the bills, you know what's going on. And I've promised the Bahamian people that anytime this kind of stuff is happening, that I am going to inform you and educate you on what's going on. All right. And so that's what I'm doing tonight. Remember when they were going to try to bring in that asylum bill? They had already announced it, saying they were going to bring it until I had until the COI had a town hall meeting to educate the Bahamian people about what they were really trying to do. All right, they were trying to sneak some stuff in there and make it look like it's something good for the country. And so we have to keep you informed on what's happening so that you know what to talk about with your family and friends, and so that you know exactly what is going on. Okay, you put this here so I can see what's happening. All right. So excuse my casual dress today. You know I always wear my suits when I go live, but of course, traveling. There's a Bitcoin revolution going on, and I advise everyone to take advantage of that. That was not financial advice, but I advise you to take advantage of Bitcoin while you can, because it is about to go down and then shoot right up. That was not financial advice. That was an opinion, but a word to the wise. Something is about to go down in the world. All right. So if you have questions with that, you can call me during the show. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this bill that is going on, I wanna show you this bill. It is a travesty and it is a sham. What this bill effectively does, I'm gonna show you in a minute. What this does is effectively remove the rights of our country to execute hardened criminals. And there's a reason they had to do it. All right. And there's a reason they pushed forward to do it. It is absolute treachery and skullduggery. And I'm going to show you exactly what's happening. Let me just pull up the bill quickly. Oh, that's not there. Okay. Just give me a sec. Let me make sure I get this up for you. So we had it up. I'll pull it up for you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't grab this, let me see. Ladies and gentlemen, the bill has been removed from the government's website. The bill has been removed from the government's website. Let me just check one more thing. Let me just check one more thing. Yeah. Let me just check this before I say what I have to say. All right. Yes, sir. The bill has been removed from the government's website. Refresh this. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I have it. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to start with the press statement by the House of Assembly. Because I am beyond shocked at what I saw with this bill. and how we keep getting deceived as a people. Hang with me now. I'm going to show you some serious stuff. And this is important because they just transformed our nation. All right. Just give me one sec. Let me just share the screen with you. All right. So what you're seeing now on the screen is a press released by the government of the Bahamas as it relates to tough new See, they said enough is enough. They made it seem like we have to do this. Finally, we have to do this. Anti-gang legislation in the House of Assembly. All right. And so they did this. And they talked about, all of the major parts of this. They needed to fight crime and this and that. But I want to get to the interesting parts of this. All right. Anyone found guilty of offense on this bill faces 25 years in prison and up to a fine. Let me make this big so you can see this good. I want you to see this good. I want you to see what your government is doing to you. Fine of up to $100,000. But watch this. All right. Watching. It says, however, if someone is proven to be a gang member who took a life during gang-related activity, they will face up to life in prison. Wow. So if you're in a gang now, and the police have said over 60% of, I think they said 65% of the murders are gang-related or retribution, all right, retaliatory. So if almost all of the murders are this, and it says, if it's proven to be a gang member, if someone is proven to be a gang member who took a life during gang-related activity, they will face up to life in prison. Shouldn't it be the death sentence? Shouldn't? How is it now that they feel the need to put this in here to say that you get a life sentence instead of the death penalty that any murderer should get? So for those who are in a gang and who is doing stuff while being a part of a gang, which is gang-related activity, you don't get the death penalty anymore. This looks like the government is trying to protect someone, not trying to protect the country. This looks like this criminal lawyer who we have as prime minister and the criminal lawyer who we have as the minister of national security is putting this in here to protect someone. This isn't about stiffer laws, because that don't look stiffer to me. That looks like they let someone off. And it continues. It says, the bill also makes provision for convicting for retaliatory killings with a penalty of up to 20 years in prison. Hold on now. So now if the killing is a retaliatory killing, you don't get death, you don't get life, you get up to 20 years in prison. Am I the only one seeing that? Does anyone have a problem with that? Down here, they said, Mr. Davis says, through a more robust penal code and stiffer penalties in the gang bill 2024, the way for a safer Bahamas is clearer than ever. Hold on. We safer because you only get 20 years. Because if you kill someone, all you got to do is say, now, I was just taking revenge on him. Once you see you're going to be guilty and they got you red-handed, just say, yeah, man, he made me mad. He stepped on my shoes at the fish fry, and I killed him. And now you only get up to 20 years. All you say is, if you get in trouble now, I'm in a gang. Officer, I am in a gang. That's what you say if you're in this situation. So once you proclaim that you're in a gang, when you kill someone, you're off the hook. Why did they feel the need to define that? And I asked you why they feel the need to define that, because we already had gang laws. We already had gang laws here. This is the penal code that you're looking at now. The penal code, see, you already had the gang law. So whenever you see the government doing something that they don't have to do, that's when you have a problem. All right? Gang membership. 98. A person who is a member of an unlawful gang or participates in or contributes to the activities of an unlawful gang. Uh, so it's already here. All right? It's already here. And guess what? Liable on conviction to a fine of $500,000. All right? So how's this differ if now it's 100,000? Before, in the penal code now, which is now repealed, it was a fine of $500,000 and imprisonment for up to 20 years. Now it's $100,000, and that's stiffer penalties. Bahamas, something is wrong. I want y'all to wake up and see what is going on. Something is wrong here. See, now, before it was 500,000, now you may face up to 25 years in prison and up to a fine of $100,000. Okay. Now, you can agree with me that something is seriously wrong here. This bill was not necessary. I don't have a problem with the bill being there, but I'm curious about the things that went into this bill. They say that, oh, you're going to be able to seize their assets, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we already had a Proceeds of Crime Act. Any crime that is being committed, you could already seize people's assets. All right? This is the Proceeds of Crime Act that you're now looking at. And so this is from 2018. And so there was already an act in place that if you are committing a crime, that they can seize your assets. All right? Yeah, search and seizure, seize of cash, etc. So they could forfeit whatever you have. And so what was this bill for? That is the question. Well, that will take us back to what they're really doing, what you notice really happening. Because now they wanted to make sure that they stayed up to life in prison for killing, as long as it's gang related, or for retaliatory killings, as long as it's gang related. So, or just retaliatory killings. They wanted to state the time so that there's no more death penalty. Here is 20 years, and here is life in prison. The government isn't inept. These are shrewd lawyers. These are criminal lawyers. They know exactly what they are doing. I want y'all to see this. There's a reason they did that. And it goes all the way back to the case of Maxo Tito. All right? This is the case, the major judgment. This is the judgment in the case of Maxo Tito, where they talked about the worst of the worst. This is the Privy Council's decision. All right? And what your politicians normally do is make you feel like you can't have it anymore because the Privy Council stopped hanging. They stopped the death sentence. That is not true. They say that to you because they know you'll never go and read this judgment. And so if you read the judgment, they say when the death penalty can be carried out. All right. They state it. And so it's clear as day in here. They have the definition. All right. And I'm going to read what they say about the worst of the worst. All right. All right. And so, in our view, the worst cases of murder, because they said it must be the worst of the worst. I didn't go into reading all of that. Right. But in this judgment, they said it must be the worst of the worst. Now, here, they go into telling you what the worst of the worst is. They say, in our view, the worst cases of murder, which may call for the imposition of most condign punishment, meaning death penalty, which the law allows, would be those in which the murder is carefully planned. See, they telling you what's the worst of the worst. The murder is carefully planned and carried out in furtherance of another crime. So they tell you what the worst of the worst is, such as armed robbery, rape. This is just such as. It doesn't. This doesn't say that these are the only things. As long as it's in the pursuit of another crime. All right. So if you're robbing someone and you kill them, that's the worst of the worst. This is what the Privy Council said. We put this bigger so y'all can see this good. I want y'all to see this and see how these politicians are lying to you. But in the furtherance of another crime, such as armed robbery, rape, drug smuggling, human smuggling. Hold on, wait. If you human smuggling someone and you kill them, okay, we get back to that. Drug wars, hold on. This one is important. Gang enforcement policies, kidnapping, preventing witnesses from testifying, serial killers, as well as the killing of innocents for the gratification of base desires mentioned in Lord Bingham. All right? So they actually say what the worst of the worst is. But it appears that it's our politicians who don't want to do this. And they are putting the blame on the Privy Council. But the Privy Council told you who the worst of the worst is. Did you see this in the news? Did you hear the politicians talking about this? But here in the middle of this is a curious one. It says gang enforcement policies. So if you if you are committing offense as relates to gang, being a member of a gang, you're considered the worst of the worst. So you should be given the death penalty. Wow. So in order to avoid these gang members getting the death penalty, Philip Brave Davis and Wayne Monroe and the rest of them made sure to stipulate in the law that they could only get life in prison or 20 years if it's retaliatory. Bahamas, do you see this? Let me read the Max Otito judgment again. This is the Privy Council. Excuse me. In our view, the worst cases of murder, which may be called for the imposition of most condign punishment, which the law allows, would be those in which the murder is carefully planned and carried out in the furtherance of another crime, such as armed robbery, rape, drug smuggling, human smuggling, drug wars, gang enforcement policies, kidnapping, preventing witnesses from testifying, serial killers, as well as the killing of innocents for the gratification of base desires mentioned by Lord Bingham. Now, they just made a little thing there saying that some of these other stuff, the people might be out of their mind, and so you have to take that into consideration. So it must also be borne in mind that in some cases, persons who commit murder in the last mentioned kinds of cases may themselves be found to be suffering from mental illness. Because you rape a child and kill them, they got to check first to see if you're in your right mind of one kind or another, and may not attain the level of insanity under McNaughton rules, but would be sufficiently weighty as to cause justice to be tempered with mercy in this case, right? Meaning that if they're out of their mind. And so they told you what is the worst of the worst. And all the government had to then do was go and define the worst of the worst in the law. And that would have had the effect. All they had to do was go and put this in the law. And no court will be able to stop the government from executing someone because now you have a court judgment and you have this in the law. But instead of going and codifying the worst of the worst in the law, even though they don't have to, the courts have already said what is the worst of the worst. They are protecting the gangsters. That's what's happening. That law is not about any kind of enforcement. They are protecting the gangsters. And that's where the problem comes in. This anti-crime bill is a farce. All right? Now, it allows them to catch other people who are part of the gang just for being a part of the gang and participating in certain things. But we already had laws for aiding and abetting, whether you're the gang or not. If you all work together, I know one fella, he's a white fella from, I think, Spanish Wells. He was selling an engine. You know, they always have a lot of boats. He was selling an engine. He was selling the engine to a drug dealer. And he didn't know it was a drug dealer, but he was just selling his engine. And they were, the drug dealer was being tapped. And he was with an informant. And when he was selling the engine, he asked the drug dealer jokingly, "Boy, what y'all going to do with this engine? Y'all going to move drugs, eh?" And the fella, the drug dealer laughed and said, "Hey, yeah, man, you know it." And they laughed. They locked up that fella who sold him the engine, saying that he was charged with conspiracy to traffic drugs because he provided the engine, and he knew because he asked him. The fella told him. They said at that point he should have not sold it them, but they was literally joking. But even though they were joking, that fella went to jail. All right. Um, so we already have all these laws in place. They say possession of bulletproof vests, etc., etc. There's already laws against possessing bulletproof vests and firearms and prohibited weapons. All right. And so, what's the point of this? The point of this was to protect the gangsters. Who are the gangsters? It's the drug dealers. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to Max Otito, because this will tell you who the gangsters are. All right. The robbers are mostly gangs doing it together. The drug smugglers are mostly gangs doing it together. The human smuggling. Oh, is Brave Davis protecting the human smugglers? Because these are now the gangsters who are doing the drugs and the human smuggling. They're doing both together. Is he trying to make sure that these human smugglers, who's bringing in all kind of money for this government, is not able to get the death penalty? Because the human smuggling ring is a ring. They are gangs. That's considered a gang. Drug wars, gang fishing, anyone who participates in kidnapping, these are the worst of the worst. And they will be entitled to the death penalty. And this is why they put this law in place. And so I wanted to take this time to show you how we have been deceived again. I need you to pay careful attention when they're bringing these bills. And guess who voted for this? And again, they reduced the penalties instead of increasing it. Guess who voted for this? The PLP and the FNM. Now, why would the FNM vote for this bill? And the only concern they had was that maybe innocent persons, parents who don't know what their children are doing, would be arrested. That is a concern for me also. That is a concern for me. But they would have to prove that that person knew what the son was doing or the daughter was doing, that they were part of gang, etc. They have to prove that. The burden of proof is on them. All right. Now, I don't like that law targeting innocent persons, but it says who knowingly harbors them. All right. And so that's not the big issue here. The big issue is that they just effectively ended the death penalty by defining that if you do stuff as a gangster, you can't get the death penalty no more. And this went over everyone's head. You need to watch this criminal government. They do not love the Bahamian people. These politicians are always concerned with criminals. They are always concerned with criminals. They're always around criminals and gangsters. Do I have to do I have to remind you I think all of you know these gangsters. You had Jerome Fitzgerald, who had a drug dealer as is he a alleged drug dealer or was he convicted? Well, one of them as his campaign general. All right, Carlos Lam was his campaign general. All right, you had Brave Davis associated with 90. Of course, he was his a lawyer, but that relationship was about more than law, I believe. Brave Davis was also associated with Togi and Bobo, Peter Nygard, and more. I'm not going to put the whole list. He even pretended to not know him. Well, if Togo and Bobby is Togi and Bobo are gangsters, does it mean now that the politicians can't associate with certain people? Actually, it does. Peter Nygard was charged with this trafficking, gang activity as relates to traffic, human smuggling, etc., human trafficking. And he was a donor of the PLP, and all of them associated with him. What does that mean? Perry Christie was known to associate with T. Ron Fowler, um, the drug dealer who was arrested and spent time in the States. I was murdered when he came back here because of a book that he wrote. He was known to associate with Peter Nygard and Harachi, and they called the PLP called Harachi a terrorist. All right. So now who do they hang out with? And even if you look at the opposition, Pintard is known for hanging out with Emperor and Fox Hill, known and others, and known for hanging out with Togi and Bobo, etc. Even though they were PLPs, all of these fellas working together. All right. And so these politicians are known to hang out with drug dealers. There's some things I can go in the act and show you that now you can't even counsel them, like Carlos Reed says he does, because if you counsel them, you're committing a crime. The police said that they communicate with them, they communicate with the gang leaders, and they counsel them or whatever. The prime minister gave jobs to gangsters. That's what he said. The prime minister said they were giving jobs to gang members and gang leaders. They gave contracts to gang members and gang leaders to aid them. So now, if those gang members get the contract from the government, use that contract to buy guns to rob people or to do crimes, or use that money to buy drugs or whatever they want to do, isn't the government complicit? With this new gang bill, is the government going to end those contracts with the gangsters? Are you all understanding the seriousness of what I'm saying? I hope this is not just being brushed over your heads. Because according to this new act, you can't even counsel them. You can't help them in no way. You can't do anything that could benefit them. In fact, that is Section 8 of the Act. Section 8 of the Act defines counsel, etc. It says, a person who, okay, let me just pull this up for you. I want you to see this as I'm reading this. Just pull this up for you. Because a lot of gangsters, drug dealers, etc., are getting contracts right now as we speak. So here, this is the act, the new bill. Persons who knowingly counsels, Carlos Reed, your job is done, eh? Gives instructions to, finances, that's what the government is doing right now. They gave jobs, they finance the criminals, or provide support to. A gang leader, gang member, or gang in the furtherance of the gang's participation or involvement in gang-related activity, or in the commission of this law now, what is the commission of a serious crime commits an offense is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 25 years. Philip Brave Davis, you lock up. I think y'all see where y'all have a problem with this new bill. I don't think y'all thought this all the way through. Y'all were so busy trying to get rid of the death penalty that y'all didn't know what to do. Okay, we got 41 minutes. I'm going to open the phone lines. You can call if you have any questions, etc., etc. Excuse me for my little cough. You can call by WhatsApp or regular line. No, call WhatsApp, please, if you can. 803-5995. But yes, you can call WhatsApp or regular line. 803-5995 is the number. Call us in and let's hear what you have to say about this. If you have any questions, do you understand? Do you see what they just did? And they keep doing these things in a slick way because they know Bahamians won't read. Bahamians don't understand what just went down. And this is where the problem is. All right. So here we go. All right. I'll take some of your questions on what you call it on the text also, but it's just that they normally go so fast they can't see them. Someone says I was asking a question, or I didn't see a question. So you can ask your question now. I wasn't looking at that screen before. I had another screen up. All right. So here we go. 803-5995 is the number. Maybe I said that too fast. 803-5995. Your government has just effectively ended the death sentence. Now, all they have to do is follow the Privy Council, which tells you, the Privy Council told you what is the worst of the worst. But they playing stupid. They're playing dumb. Like, oh, the Privy Council say you can't do it no more. I just read it to you. Does it look like the Privy Council said that you can't do it anymore? They never said that. They said the death penalty can be issued, but they said it must be the worst of the worst, and they described what's the worst of the worst. Maxo Tito was not executed because they said that he was not doing it along with another crime. All right. So he wasn't robbing the girl. This was his girlfriend. He didn't rape her. There was no evidence that he raped her. He wasn't doing any other crime. So they said because it was just a murder, even though the murder was bad, they said he's not the worst of the worst. All right. That's why he wasn't murdered. He wasn't executed. All right. But Bahamians, you have to read. The politicians are trying to trick you day in and day out. Day in and day out. They know they had to do this anti-gang legislation, and they knew they had to do something about murder and that these people qualify for murder. And so they tricked you. Okay, let me see if I can see some of your comments on here. Let me see if you have any questions or comments. So it looks like everyone is good. Looks like everyone is good. All right, look, everyone is good so far because y'all can see all of each other's comments, so I don't have to read any of your comments. I was looking to see if anyone had any questions, didn't understand something. Well, this is where we are. This government is corrupt as corrupt can be. Let's go to phone lines. Good evening, you're live. I'm awesome, man. How you doing?
I'm good. The flaws, like you say, I see with the bill is they give.
Go ahead. Think your internet's bad. You said they give.
They're giving basically justices or magistrates the opportunity to have discretion to have from 1 year to life for persons who committed murder. That doesn't make any sense. If you try to
From
make
hold
tougher
on,
laws,
just gotta correct one
penalties.
thing. From 1 day to life.
Sorry, sir, from 1 day to life. So if you try to make tougher penalties, you shouldn't give them leeway to make those choices. This reminds me of a few years ago when they had the gun laws trying to make stiffer penalties. One firearm, 2 years automatic, and a year every additional round ammunition that you have. Then suddenly, after allegedly certain members of parliament's family caught with weapons, it was given magistrates discretion. So I see that following the same plight.
Yeah. All right. And so whenever you see the government bringing in laws that they don't really need and pushing stuff in there that you might say sounds good, always look for the red herring. I've been telling Bahamians that for a long time. Sometimes they forget, and that's why I do these things to remind you and educate you. This bill was to put a wrench in the death penalty and to make sure that the people who are doing the activities that this administration is making money from, that human smuggling and all this kind of stuff, that they wouldn't get the death penalty. Because if they was to cause someone to die or murder, or if someone dies in the act of the human smuggling, that person who was the captain, etc., could be charged, and now they could get the death penalty, and the U.S. may force them to put the death penalty on that person because their lawyers will read the law. And so they had to go and make sure that they protect the criminals who are making the corrupt money in the system right now. The drug dealers, they had to protect, and they had to protect the human smugglers more than anything else. And this is where the problem comes in.
Because me, who ain't a lawyer, probably know not much about the law, can see that's a loophole.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, man. And nothing that they added into this law was necessary. All right? They are touting this as something that's necessary. Nothing in this law was necessary. Gangsters have been being arrested. All right? They've been being arrested for the crimes that they've committed. The penal code already has a law where if you're in a gang or associated with those persons, this is already there. But they were being shady. All right? Share this live. Make sure everyone knows what's going on. Make sure that all the Bahamian people understand what's going on. The news isn't going to cover this because I guess they're controlled by the same prime minister who's controlling everyone. So let's stay awake, let's stay alive, and let's continue to fight. I want to say my condolences to Steve McKinney. My condolences to you on the loss of your daughter, Odia. We're going to keep you in our prayers. I want to say a happy birthday, a belated happy birthday to Sharinda Ferguson. That's our girl up there in Atlantis. She is COI strong here from the beginning. I want to thank her for her continued support. We appreciate you and we love you. I hope I didn't forget any other birthdays, but we love you. And April 18th is the birthday of my mother, Wilma Poitier. She's passed away now, and she left us in 2014. And I love her, and she's loved by many. She started out the Palm Tree restaurant, taught a lot of the cooks at the time how to cook all around this country. Shared her wealth everywhere, which was her ability to cook. She gave Doctors Hospital, she was their first head cook. She gave them their reputation for having good food. And she was very well known. She had 2 restaurants, very well known for cooking in this country. She's an evangelist. She lived in Exuma. She's from Exuma, grew up in Barataria, lived in Rollville, and she changed a lot of lives, and so um, it's always hard to talk about her, and she helped make me the person that I am today. And you're gone, but you're not forgotten. It's officially 10 years since you've left us in 2014. You don't even know your baby boy now has to be paying VAT because when you left, there was no VAT. Um, you don't know that the price of groceries that you gave to people who you tried to help all the time has gone through the roof. You provided shelter for persons, and we are continuing that legacy. We can't talk everything we do because the government tries to block everything we do at this time. So even when we try to help people, they're trying to block that too. But we're trying to continue that legacy also. Um, you provide shelter, food, um, everything you could for other people. And love you and God bless you. She even she ran for local government in Exuma. She was blind and she won. She was blind from diabetes for a year, and then she had a miracle. I think it was a year or so, and she had a miracle, and she got her sight back before she died, and which was impossible, really, what she did. Um, God is good. I love her, and we will never forget you, and we'll carry on your legacy. I normally don't talk about my personal business. I normally fight for others. All right. So again, condolences to you, Steve. So we did less than an hour today, and most of that was intro. I just wanted to get in and get out to let the persons know that this new bill takes away the death penalty for gangsters. Now, it allows the government to have a little rope to pull in other persons who are in gangs who are participating. But we always had conspiracy. We always had aiding and abetting and all that kind of stuff. But instead of the government doing this, they need to stiffen our death penalty. Someone said on my Facebook, "Oh, they don't do the death penalty. When last they had a death, et cetera, et cetera." The reason they don't have the death penalty is because of the politician, not anyone else. Not no boogeyman in no other country. Our politicians. All right? And so that goes deep. We will save that for another time. So I just want you all to know that I love you. God bless you. Stay focused. Stay focused. So right now the PLP is in a frenzy, just throwing mud. They're making up a new lie about me and others in COI every day. Let's stay focused. All right. What they're hoping is that we waste time trying to answer them, or that Bahamians are so simple-minded that they believe something that comes from a PLP troll. All right. We are beyond that. All right. Um, So we have to stay focused. I'm hearing things like that I lived in Haiti and I was doing voodoo and I had to sacrifice people. I mean, they're getting so desperate. They are getting so desperate. They are making up anything that they're just throwing anything and hoping that it sticks. I see them sending around two signatures. One is mine and one is not mine, a fraudulent signature that was done in a court case. And you could see the signatures different, but they are sending them around. I mean, anyone with eyes could see that those two signatures are different. They're actually liberating me by sending them around because everyone is saying, hold on, but they don't look alike. They're totally different. But they are going to try everything. Their only strategy is one, to form a fake third party, two, and to vilify members of the COI. And so they're going to come to you and say, oh, Lincoln isn't worthy, this and that. And so let's just keep letting the FNM and PLP rape us and rob us because the COI isn't worthy. Lincoln isn't saved. Or they're going to make up so much stuff. I don't even know what to say. Like every day they literally wake up and start throwing stuff around. People are sending to me, you see what they saying? Is that true? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Let's get to the new Bahamas, all right? Let's stay focused and let's get to the new Bahamas. Stay focused. We are going to make it. Don't let them vilify us. They can do it, but let's not pay attention to it. Let's stay focused. Because the villains are trying to vilify the people who are trying to fight for this country. The villains, the one who are who's doing the wrong, who are raping and robbing us. We can't let it happen. All right. So God bless you. We love you. I hope that was clear for you tonight. We didn't get any questions. I could have gone more deeply into it because there's some other stuff in there, but just get the act and read it. In fact, I'm going to put it in our WhatsApp groups, or I'll put it on our website so you can see where to get it easily. But that bill is dangerous. Instead of them bringing the death penalty, they just got rid of it. No media is talking about it. The opposition voted for it. Now, crime is going to reign. Good night. God bless you. I love you. You are why I fight.